Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Santai Talk. Can't believe we're in episode 9. I think we are one more episode to episode 10. It's like,
wow, I guess that's 9, I guess.
yeah. I mean, can you imagine we've been doing this for 9 weeks and like it's 2 months. We've been doing this for 2 months now. Yeah.
Wow.
And then, hopefully let's see how far we can take this. And happy to spend this time with you guys. Anyway, as per our topic last week, we did say that we're gonna talk about happiness in this episode. So, what is happiness, right? Like, happiness can be defined very differently. Different people find happiness in different things, and they all have their own meaning of what happiness is. So I guess it's a pretty broad and general topic, and anyone also have a different definition to it. So Calvin, like, what do you think happiness is for you?
Okay, happiness as we know it is a feeling that humans feel, right? So it's an emotion that's tied to pleasant, feeling good, feeling high. So it's definitely happy. It's the kind of emotion that we feel when good things happen. So according to me, happiness, for me, happiness, it also evolves through your definition as you grow older as well. As a kid, when you get an ice cream that you always wanted, you keep bugging your parents to get you an ice cream or a toy, and when you get it, you just feel this surge of happiness. Coming on the back of your mind. You can feel it. The euphoria. So for me, in my case, when I was 12, I begged my mom to buy me a toy right before UPSR, actually, to motivate me, quote unquote. So when I got the toy, I felt so happy, and to me that was everything that I wanted. So as I grow older, happiness means very differently now. So if I were to talk about happiness right now, I would say that for me, I just want to do well, in regards to my mental health, my career, my relationships. And I feel that happiness sometimes isn't just about you, it's about other people as well. It's making other people happy. So like in the case of my mom, I have this duty to, because
To take care of her, right?
To take care of her. So whenever I do so, sometimes I would buy things for her to make her happy and stuff like that, and it makes me really happy. So this applies for the same to my mom, my girlfriend, my siblings, my friends. So I guess happiness to me right now is just really to just feel happy, because the world is already so messed up. We need to be more kind to ourselves. So
kindness to ourselves is the most important lah.
It is. It is.
So Jacelyn, like, what does happiness means to you? Like, what defines happiness for you?
Happiness for me, I kind of define it as the feeling of fulfillment.
Okay.
Like, I only feel happy when I fulfill something. So like, let's say even if it's like making 1 ringgit a day, but just doing whatever I want to do, makes me feel happy enough.
I see.
Yeah.
So basically, it's the sense of achievement for you, right?
Achievement, fulfillment, yeah.
I see.
Like
you guys brought up like pretty interesting points, right? Because what Calvin he brought up was, happiness is when you achieve certain material things in life. Maybe you get a toy, you get a watch, or you did something for your that make your parents proud, and then your parents buy you something. And I experienced that before, and I'm not sure if you guys are also familiar with that feeling, because usually happiness that is tied with material things does not really last, and it's sort of like diminishes over time. You get what I mean? Like when you get it, you feel peak happiness. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you're at your most happy, and you feel very appreciative towards it, and you think that you can play with that thing for forever. But over time, right, the happiness just slowly goes away.
Yeah,
And
definitely, I agree.
and I realized this is a problem because a lot of people, especially people from the upper class, which have a bit more wealthier background. I mean, naturally, people who are more well off, they will have more friends. But the problem is that they struggle to create genuine relationships with people because of their status and their wealth. Because they always have to look out for who is the one that is going to like stab them in the back when there's an opportunity, right? So
The genuine friends.
yeah, they all have issues making genuine friends. So how they find happiness is they try to buy things, and they'll spend loads and loads of money on things. And I mean, I see it in one of my friends. Like he literally spends so much money on his hobbies, and what he tells me, his hobby makes him happy. But to me, what I feel is, yeah, he probably feel happy when he got the thing, and he probably like is at peak happiness when it arrived at his home. But after putting it up on the shelf and looking at after week, and then the happiness starts to diminish, then what's next, right? And then he will buy another one, and then the whole thing repeats and repeats and repeats until his whole house is filled with his hobbies. So yeah, like, do you think that's true happiness, Calvin?
For me, like I say, everyone has their own definition of happiness. So, in this case, I like very nice things as well.
Yep.
And I do seek fulfillment from that. Example, for me, I like to buy watches. For me, watches to me is like an achievement. When I get promoted, when I get a nice big bonus, then maybe I'll reward myself with a watch. So that ties in with material things as well. Okay, so if in this case that buying those things fulfills him and makes him happy, then I guess if it works for him, then it works for everybody. For me, it's watches. For him, it's collectibles, and for Jason, it's fulfillment and achievement. So I guess the very thing that we must highlight here is like what we are trying to do now. How do we define happiness?
Yep.
And also, like I said, happiness evolves over time.
Yes.
As we grow older, we have different focus, we have different interests, and the things that we feel that may make us happy now may not be the same in the future. So,
Jason, what's your take?
My take is like what Kelvin mentioned. Like everyone has a different definition of what happiness means to them. Like in your friend's case, because I know your friend in person as well.
Okay.
For me, I believe he is somewhat genuinely happy with what he has bought.
Okay.
Right. But at the same time, because what true happiness actually meant to him was the person that he actually lost. So I mean, like, even though he's trying to maybe cover a void, but at the same time he's also happy with doing the collectibles and purchasing all these things, because I did have a conversation with him about like what is happiness to him as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I believe he finds happiness in collecting stuff, and when he gets bored or he's not happy with things, he'll just, I mean, like what we all do, we all just put it aside and get the next thing that makes us happy. Like, I mean, I'm somewhat the same. I bought my Chanel bag thinking I'll be very happy, but I got bored after a while, and I went on to the next thing. But the thing is, for me, fulfillment was when I actually bought the bag, because I saved up enough money and I worked hard enough to get the bag. And then later on, I got bored of it because it loses its shiny value, but I move on to the next thing that would make me happy. So sometimes happiness evolves around over time.
So but here's the debate, right? The debate is, do you think it's worth it to chase happiness that's bind with material things? Because, like I say, it's in its nature, it's diminishing. So over time, the same thing does not probably give you the same amount of happiness. And when it starts going away and you don't feel it anymore, you then go and chase the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing, and it never ends, right?
Okay, but that's the other question is, what will make you happy for the rest of your life?
Well,
Have you found that one thing that will make you happy for the rest of your life?
well, here's my take on it. I feel that we will never find true happiness that is bind towards material things. What I'm trying to say is that we will never find true happiness as long as we seek it in material things. Because in school of economics, there's a saying that humans wants are infinite.
Yeah.
Means if you want something today and you get it, and then over time you will start to yearn for more and more and more and more, and then eventually it's impossible to satisfy the human wants. So
Yeah.
that's why I say no amount of material goods is can really satisfy someone. It's gonna be an endless cycle if someone just chase happiness through material things. Like, it's just gonna keep on going and going and going and going, and eventually one day you just can't chase it anymore. Then, yeah, that's the end. You know?
Yeah, which is why I want to bring up a point of contentment. You know, so as I said earlier, happiness evolves, right? So you know, when you're more aligned with your spirit, you know, your own soul, you will start to realize that the things that really matter, like what you say, Lord Kenneth, is actually not about chasing material wealth, you know, or material things, you know.
Yep.
So to me, that is why you see why you know, as older people they grow, you know, why do they value grandchildren so much? It's because it's something that money can't buy.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that it will be ingrained in them forever as long as they have it, you know. So I guess the point here to answer your question is yes, I agree that humans will never be satisfied, which is why humans must make a choice to be content, and that comes with gratitude, you know. Before we can really say that, oh, you know, I don't want to chase material wealth already, you know, I'm truly happy, I feel that we need to do a deep down analysis on what we need to be grateful for, because actually, to be very honest, actually even the simplest of things can make us very happy. On example, like what, maybe just recognizing that we have a roof over our heads, really, and we get to eat whatever we want every day. We have a job, you know, we are still, you know, we're still healthy in mind and body to make decisions to enrich our life. So, you know, I think the key word here is gratitude, because in material things, right, we seek to have the fulfillment, right? Like what you say, for the example of me, I always buy watches year by year, you know, as a reward, stuff like that. But will I ever stop buying watches? I don't think so, you know, because I really like them. But if let's say one day I feel that, oh, actually watches don't really make me that content, then perhaps one day I'll stop buying it. But I don't see that anytime soon.
Like,
so you know, it's very important to be conscious.
Okay, Jason.
I believe it's all about in the journey of what you do to receive that fulfillment of happiness. So probably in your friend's situation, he finds that collecting all these collectibles will one day satisfy his happiness.
Jason, you actually brought up a really good a really good point just now, that because our friend, he had lost a very special someone, and he's trying to use his hobbies to fill up the void that person have left behind.
Yeah.
So then it brings us to our second question. People who finds happiness through other people. And actually, a lot of us do it. We don't even notice. Is that whenever we see someone, we like for Calvin's in Calvin's case, earlier he did say that he also find happiness that he managed to be able to take care of his mom, his family, going on a trip together. On previous episodes, he did mention that. So finding happiness in other people, I think, in a sense, and in many cases, that's a very noble cause, because when you want to make someone happy, you are more self-sacrificial, and you try to earn and you try to achieve that certain luxury or that certain ability to be able to live up, or not even live up, just to make that other person smile, to do whatever it takes to make the other person smile. I mean, it could be making your parents proud, taking your parents to a place that they have dreamed of but never get to go, fulfilling your parents' dream, or loving your other half. You know, you have a loved one, or you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, or a husband or wife. You know, so usually that's a very good cause. But here's the problem. The problem is, what if that person no longer love you or no longer is around anymore?
Well, you cannot make decisions based on such pragmatism, you know, because if you were to do that with every person you meet, and the family that you're born into, then actually you'll be more unhappy than happy. You are so pragmatic about things, you know, you're so conscious about, oh, you know, if I do this, then what if the person gone already? Yeah, I better not do it. Actually,
no, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say that don't do it. Of course, it's very good that you do it, and I encourage people to take care of their loved ones, right, and make them happy.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
what I'm trying to say is that if and when the person is no longer around anymore, and or have left you, I guess a lot of people find it very hard to accept it.
I think it's better to do it, you know, because you want to do it and you want to make the other people happy, rather than regret not doing it later.
Yes.
Yeah, I've definitely got to agree with what Calvin said.
Yeah, which I agree as well. My point is that if you have, I mean, do by all means, you do all that you have to do, but if your source of happiness is somebody, and if that very person disappears from your life, then a lot of cases I see is the person will go into despair. And
okay, I get your point, Kenneth. So I would like to point out something to you, is that I think for people who always want to make other people happy, and because they're happy and they feel fulfilled, I think this has to do with a lot with insecurity and low self-esteem. So I can tell you that why I do what I do is because I have a great deep care for that person, and because I love them, but in the same time I am super aware of my own spirituality as well. I know what makes me upset, I know what makes me happy. So I get your point, Ken, but the thing is that why I do this is because when I do this, the other people are happy and I get happy as well. So go back to my point, which is, don't regret it if you don't. You regret it if you don't do it, right?
Yep.
So, but at the same time, also, right? I do it because I think genuinely it's because I want them to be happy, lah, and that makes me happy. Even if one day they leave or whatsoever, right? I will know that at least I can, I can thank myself.
Yep.
Because I know I've done so and so, and actually that would further increase my, my happiness, actually.
I guess
Yeah,
my point is that yes, you can have somebody to be the source of your happiness, and yes, you can do all the things that makes the person happy, and so when the person is happy, you are happy yourself.
I just oh, sorry.
No, Jason, go ahead.
Oh, well, okay. The thing is, like, when we are doing things to make people happy, or we find that their sense of happiness, we always have to always look back at ourselves, whether are we just doing this to make them happy, or to actually reflect back, is this going to make me happy if I do this for them?
Yeah, which you just open up another can of worms.
And you don't do it out of guilt.
Yeah. So, what I was about to say just now was that as much as that other person, like, let's just go back to our friend, for example, who have just lost a very dear one, and now there's a really huge void in his life. I get it that the person is very important to him, and it's a huge source of happiness for him. But now that the person is no longer around, and it's really difficult. It's really hard. I understand that, but such is life, right? So we have to have the courage and find the courage to move on, and look into other things that gives us source of happiness. The problem that I raise up is that a lot of people, they are unaware of their feelings, and they surround themselves in that agony, in that sorrow for a really, really long time. Yeah, and they because they are unaware of their feelings, they don't know where their happiness come from. They don't know why they're feeling this way, but they're feeling this way, and they feel a huge void, right? So I mean, it might be very obvious that, hey, you know, of course he's feeling sad because he just lost his very close one, right? But after a really long time and the person is still feeling sad, us talking about it now might seem obvious, but to that person it might not be that obvious anymore. He might feel like, I don't even know what I'm sad about anymore, and I don't know how I can even move on. And I guess that's how people develop depression, you know? Yeah, so which you brought up a really great topic as well, Jaislyn, when you say that whether you are doing it in response of guilt or doing it in response of free will, or of duty, or of passion, or of pride. So I guess you're right, like, you also have to see what's the reason you're doing it for, you know? Are you doing it because you just wanna make that person happy out of your free will, out of your own charity, out of your own care to that person? Or are you doing it just because that person is guilt tripping you, you know, so that shit, I'll have to do something for him, you know? And I feel that Cal?
So I actually want to reiterate my point, which is, because your question itself earlier, which is, when you do all this and this, and then the person is gone, would that make you despair? No? So I feel that question actually has an undertone of, you are purely doing the thing, and 100% is for them, and you are not thinking about yourself. So I must also say that when you do something, make sure you don't end up unhappy also lah. Because if you end up unhappy doing that something for someone, then why you still do it, right? Correct? So which is why throughout whatever Jason and you has discussed, which is doing it out of guilt or whatever, so that is actually very dangerous, because sometimes when we do something, we're not aware of it, you know, and that becomes a habit. And when something bad becomes a habit, it's very destructive. So I think what I'm trying to say is that, guys, when you want to do something, especially for someone, you also need to ensure that you do it because you expect no return. You do it because out of charity. You do it because out of love. You do it out of care. Because you love your parents, you love your siblings, you love your best friends. So you know, if we always make a decision based on, you know, even if let's say they are gone or whatever, like let's say, because one day everyone will go away, everyone will pass away, right? So I would say that do everything you can with no regrets. And yeah, don't look back. Like what Han said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just make decisions in life and don't look back.
Don't look back. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes.
But I mean, I'm a Buddhist, right? Religiously, I'm a Buddhist, so my beliefs is that happiness is actually not tied to anything. It's not tied. It's not tied to any person, or it's not tied to any object. Happiness is come from within.
Okay.
Yeah. So why I say that? Because somebody might have all the money in the world, rich as hell, can do whatever they want, but they still don't find happiness. He has everything, like maybe the cars, the condos, the sports, you know. And sometimes people even get a lot of friends around them. But why they're not happy? And for those people, I've seen certain people as well work a 3K job, 9 to 5, the rest of his life, and he has nothing. He's renting an apartment and he take the bus to work. But you know what's the weird thing? Everyone would say, oh, that's a really ordinary life, right? But he's happy, you know. He's content with the way he is, and he does not feel the need to move anywhere else.
That's because he has found fulfillment in what he's doing.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that is what a lot of us do not realize, that we should be happy with what we have. We should enjoy the journey and not the rewards or the monetary value that.
So like what Calvin just mentioned is very true. It's about the contentment of whatever you have right now. Because let's give you guys a spoiler alert. For those out there who is thinking that I gotta make a lot of money so that I can be happy in life, yes, it's true.
I'm sorry guys, that's not the truth.
Yeah, that's not the truth. And yes, maybe your life will be a bit more comfortable when you have some money. But then again, when you have money, you're comfortable, but you're not happy. You have to differentiate comfort and happiness. You can be happy even though you are broke as shit.
Yeah, but at the same time, like because of the whole entire pandemic issue going on, I just want to say, like, you know, people should be happy with the jobs that they have right now.
Yeah.
The fact that you actually have a job right now, and a lot of people are suffering out there, we should be happy that we actually have work to do. We actually can buy food and buy the necessities that we need. But also those who are struggling to get their day-to-day necessities. I mean, reach out to the community, because there are a lot of people around you that will be willing to help you out.
Yeah. And I mean, coming back to the conversation we had just now, right? Like, my beliefs is happiness comes from within, and part of this happiness also is like what Calvin said, your spiritual awareness. Because when you are aware about your spiritual well-being and you're content with your the way you are right now, because a lot of people might feel like, oh, I have physical well-being, right? My body is doing well, I'm healthy, but somehow something's wrong. They feel that something's wrong with them, and that's probably their spiritual well-being. Maybe they have done a lot of terrible things, and maybe they have hurt somebody. So it's the emotions that he feels that is screwing him up. So I would say that's like the spiritual well-being. And how people can nurture their spiritual well-being, and a way that they can do it is they do more charity, like Calvin said. You do charity and you expect nothing back in return. So in a way, once you have garnered certain level of spiritual wellness, you will eventually feel happy, even though you have not much, but you will still feel happy, because you know your life is is fulfilled. You're fulfilling your purpose, you know? It might be a bit deep, but I mean, if you really think about it, it makes sense.
Yeah, and it's something that everyone has to go through on their own because everyone's experience is very unique
Different.
to them and
Yeah.
they have different struggles and circumstances. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, everyone will find eventually they may or may not, but it's a battle that we have to seek for ourselves because no one's gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
no one's gonna give you a plate of happiness. You know, like what you said, and it comes from within.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, another thing is that like what we spoke about, right, in the previous episode, when in our first episode, we talked about what's the purpose of life, right? So I feel this topic somehow ties back to the first episode.
Yeah,
because happiness, I feel like our purpose, all of our purpose in life is actually to find happiness. And yes, we might go through a lot of things, go through a lot of people, go through a lot of experiences that make us happy, but in the end, I guess all of us, all our goal should be to eventually try to seek true happiness, true contentment. What I mean by true happiness is that no longer material things, no longer personal affections, or no longer any experiences gives you the happiness. It's you yourself. You are satisfied with who you are, and your conscience are clear, and you know that if you were to leave this world the next day, you feel that I can just go because I've done all that I have to do. You know, that kind of things. I fulfilled my true purpose, my goal, my destiny, and I feel that most importantly is that journey, the journey that you go through in life. You know, Buddhists always have a saying, life is all about suffering.
Yeah.
And for those people who are not very well learned about Buddhism, they might feel like, that's bullshit, because how can life be just full of suffering, right? Which actually it's true if you think about it. Life is actually full of suffering, but in a way, it's a necessary evil, because if we don't suffer in life, we will never truly appreciate peace. And
it's like paradox.
Yeah, like if you, it's like if you never have been poor, you will never truly appreciate the value of money. You get what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So I feel that you have to. The journey is full of suffering, it's full of hardships, it's full of loss and grief. But in the end, I guess we all have to go through that experiences to truly find what is happiness for us, and truly find it within ourselves. And I guess all these are the experiences that mold us and make us ready to finally achieve that final happiness in life, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree. Suffering, as what Buddha has said, life is full of suffering, and I also remember he mentioned that only if you know the greatest suffering, only will you know what is tranquility, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you know, life is funny. It's a paradox.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that happiness is also a constant. So it's not something that I do so and so, then I have gained some happiness. I think it's a constant where it's your state of mind. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's a state of mind. It does not derive from anything or anyone. It comes from yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're feeling unhappy, I challenge you guys to think about it. Think about what makes you unhappy. Does it really makes you unhappy? Does it really mean anything to you? Or it's just your emotions that's playing with you? A wise man once told me, think about your feelings, feel about your thoughts.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is so great.
And yeah, think about it, and you eventually you get you have a better understanding of your own self. And when you are more alert, or you know more about yourself, then that's how you can truly be happy. Because how can you truly be happy if you have no control of your emotions?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And also always be aware of why you are doing certain things.
Yes.
Because for me personally, I was living in a hell of I want to please people. So wherever they were happy, I thought I was happy, but I was actually miserable. But I never understood that.
And I'm glad you actually found out. You actually went to seek some help, and through the psychiatrist, you can find what is the true problem, the true issue that's causing you the misery. And now that you understand yourself better, you feel like you have better control. And it doesn't
you have control, and you find a way and a path to regain back your happiness and the control of your life.
Yeah. And now you feel that it doesn't affect you as much as before now.
I do what makes me happy.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's because you are more aware.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't underestimate. I mean, a lot of people underestimate the power of knowledge. When you know certain things, when you have more control over yourself, that's when you truly understand.
Yeah. Self-awareness is very important.
Self-awareness, exactly.
Self-awareness is part of how you actually gain happiness.
Well, I guess today that's all the time we have about happiness. Yeah.
Really enjoyed it.
I hope that all of you managed to learn something about happiness today. Is there anything you guys would like to add before we end the show?
I'm good.
I'm good here.
All right. Okay. So hope you guys like our podcast, and although yes, we're doing this for fun, but it's already been 9 episodes in and 9 weeks in, and yeah, I can't believe that time passed by so fast. It just feels like we just started the podcast.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. So let's see. I guess you guys just have to tune in to next week to find out what's our topic for next week. All right.
Subscribe, guys.
Subscribe, leave a like, and the comment. The cliche YouTuber thing to say. And goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.